record it. Okay, so tips from the top tonight. I'm super, super excited. I actually don't even know. Marina and I met at an event. That's what happened. So if you've ever been to events, that is where I get to meet so much of my team that do not live in my backyard, which is a lot, you guys, and it's going to be a lot for you too. So events are a total game changer. And I don't even remember. It might have been on the cruise. But anyways, last month, she just had an incredible month. And the funny thing is I was already asking her to come on and share all her tips and tricks with you just because I love how she builds. She's always been 100% in since I've known her, and her energy and everything is just, her leadership, everything is just phenomenal. So I was already going to ask her, and I had no idea that she was like busting booty for the top rank. So she is going to share all those tips and tricks with you and everything she's learned over the 4 years and things she's changed. We always try to tell you guys and teach you guys to learn from our mistakes, right? You fail forward. And if you're scared to fail forward, then you're probably going to sit. So anyways, we're going to share those things with you. But anyways, last month she went Ambassador Diamond, which is the top rank. So there's 9 ranks. She went Ambassador Diamond. She's only been in 4 years, you guys, which is crazy. She's going to tell you where she was when she found It Works, like what she was doing, all that good stuff. But she earned a $25,000 bonus. So congratulations, Marina. That is so freaking amazing. None of us join this business thinking that we're going to hit the top rank. I just want you to know that right now, okay? So that just slowly happens as you keep helping people. So I'm going to spotlight her video really quick. Okay, so Marina, she said she's nervous, you guys, and I just have to share that because that just cracks me up. And I'm like, everybody thinks that when you've been in for a long time, or you're an Ambassador Diamond, or all these things, like they think that this is just natural for you. It's not. Like none of us thought we would be leading trainings. Nobody would think that they're speaking to, however many people. So just know that some of those nerves never go away, but we just do the stuff anyway. So Marina, introduce yourself. And what I want you to share is what you were doing and kind of what life was like before you found It Works, how you found it, and just a little bit of your, you guys, asking somebody to put 4 years in like 5 minutes is really hard. But we always try to do that because I think it's so incredibly relatable, and just to see where people start, because you just really never know people's stories. That's the truth. So go ahead and get started. And thanks for being on with us tonight.
Thank you so much. I feel so honored to even be invited. Like she said, I'm super nervous, but that's just me because I am an ultra yellow, and I've been in this for 4 years. And I actually just a couple of days ago retook the personality color test because I was like, oh, I must be for sure like going red, because I'm just getting so much better at this. And I took it and it was like yellow to the core, or like 90-something%. So I'm still here, still shaking like a leaf. So if you guys are nervous or you feel like this is something you can never do, I promise you that you can. And you just have to do it. You just have to do it and realize that if you do it, they're going to pay you the big bucks to do it. So if you're even a little bit money motivated, it's so worth it.
Yes.
So my name is Marina Winkler. I'm from British Columbia on Vancouver Island in Canada. And like she said, I just won Ambassador Diamond this last month. So I'm very excited. We just opened our first commissions check today for the prelims, and I was just absolutely blown away. I'm floored, because there was a time that I didn't even make like half of that in a year. So I'm so feeling so beyond blessed. So when I found It Works, I guess it kind of found me. So at random, my son asked me to sign up for piano lessons, and the girl who was teaching him piano, we became friends, and she was doing It Works, she wasn't even a Ruby yet. And she was trying so hard to get me to join with her. And I'm like, there's no way. Like, there's no way I'll do something like this, but thank you so much for the offer. And she would come over all the time. She was always on her phone, and we would hardcore make fun of her for always being on her phone. And, all of a sudden one day she says, I'm running for a diamond paycheck and they doubled it. So it's $20,000. And then my husband's going to go for it too. So 40,000 US in bonuses. And I was like, what? Like, how is that even a thing? Like, what? Like, people don't make that in a year, never mind a bonus. And then I was like kind of intrigued, but I'm like way too busy. So I owned a very successful cleaning company that I worked very hard to build. I worked 8 years. I cleaned for 15 years total. I built my business over 8 years, had 10 employees. We had over 100 residential clients, and I managed 42 vacation properties. So I did vacation properties on the side as well, and then construction cleans and move out cleans on the weekends. So I worked 7 days a week. I never had days off. And if I did, it was just by fluke chance that everything worked out with my staff and that something didn't go wrong, because there was always something. And I remember telling my husband, I can't do this for much longer. I was 27 or 28 when I said this. And I remember just saying, my body is aching. I can't imagine being a 40, 50-year-old woman still cleaning and bending over and having all this pain and, you know, just all the crap that came with being a business owner and, you know, staff not showing up and, you know, people not happy with this or that, you know, and I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. And it was just literally right after that, I found it works. And when she told me she was going for those bonuses, and she said, you know what, let's just get you to try the wraps. We'll go from there. So I tried the wraps. I politely told her I found no results from them. And I was very thankful that she gave them to me for free, because I'm a Jew. If anybody knows, I'm Jewish for real. And I wasn't about to pay for them. So she gave them to me for free. I was that girl. And I told her, I'm so sorry, but she made me do them properly. And she says, well, send me the pictures. So I sent her the pictures, and I never looked at them side by side. So she put them side by side. You guys, my photos were phenomenal. Like, the before and afters were so drastically different. I was like, what? This is why photos are so important, because they speak so much louder than just looking at yourself. So those photos are what I immediately posted, and people were blown away, and it just started. So if you're someone who hasn't gotten your own results, be a product of the product, because sometimes that's all it takes is people seeing that you're doing it and that you have somewhere to go, something to offer and something to show, right? So it just started from there. I went diamond in my 3rd month, got a $10,000 paycheck. I paid cash for our wedding. We finally got married after being together for 8 years at the time. And we paid cash for our wedding, which was amazing, thanks to this business and earning that bonus. 2 months later, I went double diamond. And 3 months after that, I went triple. So on my 9-month anniversary, I went triple diamond and earned us the cruise. And give me a hands up if you're someone who has an unsupportive spouse, because my husband was terrible. He wouldn't even talk to me about it, like absolutely nothing, like no conversations. So obviously when he was in the shower, I took his citizen ID and signed him up when he wasn't looking as a distributor. So I worked both of our accounts without him knowing until I went triple diamond, and I got us the first $10,000 paycheck and showed it to him, and he was blown away. Just couldn't even believe it. He still did not get on board until we hit the cruise. So this is why events are so important. Like Sarah was saying just before, get to events. Not only is it going to change things for you, but it could change things for your spouse. The first person that we met when walking on the cruise was Joel Dunn. So that didn't hurt things very much for my husband and me, right? Like, he walked in and got the best conversation with him ever. And after meeting everyone on there, we went downstairs, and he's committed to doing this full force with me. He's a firefighter. He'll never quit his job, but he does do this, and he's very supportive now. And just a few short months later, so we went to our first, or wasn't my first, I might've been, event, like actual corporate event. We went to our, Sarah, when was the first cruise? December or November? November, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was November.
Or it might have been December, because I think I went in November. So we went in December, and then anyways, conference was February. We went to conference, and they announced that it was double bonuses. And they said, basically, Mark looked right at me, I'm telling you, way in the back. And he said, Marina Winkler, I'm offering you a $100,000 bonus to go to your next rank. And I was like, well, this little Jew is extremely excited right now. So I got home and got to work. I am not a mass enroller, you guys. And I was telling Rhonda and Sarah about this. Like, I'm not a mass enroller, but I got home and I said, he just gave me a pot of gold and said, it's yours if you just get to work. And I signed 28 distributors that month, boxed myself in. And then the following month we went ambassador. I'm just all about that life right now. We went presidential. And so we earned $100,000 bonus and then another bonus for my husband. And, you know, so now here we are. I guess that was a year in. So that was like right at my 1 year mark. So it was really quick. We promoted really quickly and it was so exciting. And we earned like over $200,000 in bonuses within our first year and a half, I would say. So, I'm just trying to think. That's most of my like beginning of my story. And then you've got questions.
Yes. Okay. And then this is actually really good. So you were super busy, already working, your mom, already working 7 days a week. And so somebody was asking like, where did you fit this into your day? And I love that question because honestly, I was working full time too. And the thing is, I tell people all the time, I'm like, you guys, I was like the oddball. Like I worked nights. And so it was crazy. Like I would come home and I remember like, you know how you kind of just have to let your mind settle? Like physically you're like, I have got to lay down, but your mind still like needs to slow down. And I remember I wanted this. And I was kind of at the same spot you were. Like you already had put so much heart and grit and stuff into your own business. But again, you were already starting to look a little bit forward. And I feel like that's exactly where I was. I remember just like hitting this where they're like, yeah, you've grown so fast, like as a nurse, but this is where you get capped off and you get yearly bonuses from here. And for whatever reason, you guys, I was like pissed. I'm like, no, like I run miles in this hospital. Like I am not going to wait for that. And so I love that you're talking about that because so many times I tell people, I'm like, I didn't need this business to pay my bills. What I needed was this business to, you know, plump up the savings, have options, pay cash for vacations, you know, start thinking about retirement and pouring into that a lot faster. And then the same thing that you were thinking was like, this is hard physical work. Like how long is my body going to allow me A, to work nights where you get an awesome differential, B, like go 14 hours. And how long are my kids' schedule going to allow me to be gone 3 days in a row for that amount of time, you know? And same thing, like I would pick up extra shifts or whatever when we had extra costs. And again, I was like, I'm just done spending that time away. So share, like, where did you fit your time in to build this business? Because that's where a lot of people are right now, is trying to do that. And the thing is they can do it. And you even showed too that you were building at a pretty good pace while working a full-time job and running a full-time business.
Well, you know, and that's the thing, you bang on. And, you know, we all have the same 24 hours. It's just a matter of how we prioritize them. And you guys, when people always tell me that they're too busy, I literally laugh at them because you want to talk about busy, jump into my life 4 years ago. I was a mom of two. We had all the things that we had to do with the kids and family and everything else. That was apart from taking care of my staff, doing all the staff numbers on month end, and then working full time. So my 7 days a week, like I brought my work home too. When I got home, I was doing laundry for clients and different things. Like it was like an all day affair. I would work all day residentials. Then I would get home, have a quick meal with my kids, maybe throw in some laundry and go back out and do construction cleans at night. I was getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night after doing full days of hard labor. Then on the weekends, it's move out cleans and more constructions. You know, the day I went presidential diamond, I did an 8-hour move out clean by myself because one of my girls didn't show up. So I promoted to the second highest rank in the company while, you know, because I wanted it that bad. You know, it's if you say you don't have time and you're not able to, you just don't want it bad enough. And I'm just being raw and real. And I don't want anyone to be hurt or offended, but like, it's just true. You know, how do I say this nicely? You know,
no, you can say it.
I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but the fact is that, you know, this is literally an opportunity that's given to anyone. You just have to find the time. So how did I prioritize? I slept less, even less than I already was. I got up earlier, or when I got home at 2 a.m. from a construction clean, I would quickly I would set up my buffer at the time. Remember Buffer or Hootsuite?
Yeah.
And those, I would set them all up and make sure, and they're not the most ideal because all your audience doesn't really see, but it was better than not posting, in my opinion. And, you know, I would, on the times that I did have an extra hour, but there's times where you're just gonna be like, I'm so tired, I need my mind to unwind and I just want to watch TV. Well, you know what? I would still do that, but I would watch TV while pre-making a bunch of posts into my notes. you know, be smart about your time, you know, and if you work super, super hard for a full year straight, you can take a day off here and there to like enjoy your family, or not even a day off. Like we still work our businesses every single day, even if we take a day off. Do you know what I mean? When I say a day off, I'm talking like actually put my phone away and like go spend time with my kids. We get to do that now because you know what? We worked super hard to get there. So I just encourage you to find those little bits of time that you have and use them wisely. You know, I would be always driving all of our staff like all over the place. In exchange, I would get them to drive and I would sit in the passenger seat while we would go from one house to the next, and I would catch up. You know, we get to a house. I'm a very good cleaner. I'm proud of how good I can clean. So I know that I could get into someone's house and go, I'll be like, I'll do the bathrooms, lock the door, quickly do a couple messages, you know what I mean? And then work even harder to get that bathroom done, you know, above and beyond and quickly. So it's just a matter of finding that time, using it wisely, and not complaining about it. Just get it done because it's so stinking worth it.
And here's my other question. Did you show up daily for your business?
Every day. There's not one day. I had people pass away. My best childhood friend died of cancer, and I still posted that day. And you can take your lifestyle and create posts around, you know, that. I talked about him, and I talked about the freedom that this company has given me to be able to take some time to go and spend with my family during that hard time. I lost 2 friends to overdoses, you know, really, really good childhood friends to overdoses. And, you know, I was able to fly up home and go to their funerals and not worry about the costs and things like that. Like, it's an everyday thing. You can incorporate anything. You go to the gas station, you make a post, you know, people are going to relate to that tank of gas. I want to fill my gas tank. You have a baby, take a picture when you're buying your diapers and say, I'm so excited my side gig just paid for these diapers. You can make a post out of literally anything. And if you say you don't have content, you're lying.
Yeah.
Because everybody got content. It's everywhere. You can literally make this business and a post out of anything.
Yes. And I think that's the thing, you guys, why there are so many success stories, is that this business is meant to be built in the nooks and crannies of your day. Okay. And it is not where you should have to sit for hours and hours on end. Yes, is there days maybe that I put in a lot more hours, like come month end, right? It's nuts. You guys, my family is prepared for it. I speak out loud, like expectations. I need help here. I need help here. I'm not trying to be Wonder Woman. And you know what? My family takes pride in that, because that promotion isn't just mine. It's not just my team's, it's ours, you know? And the thing is too, is if there's one thing that I can remember when I was working full-time and doing this business full-time, because I'm like you, like, I'm like, if I'm going to do something, I'm doing it. Like, I am not going to sit back. I take pride in putting the work in. I love putting the time in. I love learning. And so the thing is I also didn't like need everything to be perfect, because when you have 5 freaking minutes, the only thing that you have to think about is I need to be present for a minute. So whether that's posting or I'm in my stories or whatever it is, that's what you need to be doing. So I always tell everybody, present over perfection. Like, you have got to get that out of your head. And what, you know, you might think of this perfect post, and it's funny because you're like, yeah, that was so good. And it gets like 2 freaking likes, right? And then you go and you randomly throw up a really quick post, because you're going to be present, right? You can't be perfect right that second. And all of a sudden you get like way more likes, and you're like, wait a second. So just remember, like, your imperfect times might seem perfect to somebody else. And then I love that you said that, like working in the car, that was one of my things. Like, I commuted 35 minutes. That's when I scheduled calls with potential DTs asking for more information. I said, hey, I'm going to be driving to work. Can I call you? Does this time work for you? Did the same thing in the mornings. Like, how do you stay awake after not sleeping for over 20 some hours? It's like, I literally would do, and then I would do voice texts, you guys. Like, it was, my eyes were all still on the road, but I used that time wisely. So when I was home, I could be present, you know? And so I love that you shared that. And that was such a good question. So here's the thing. Okay. So Ambassador Diamond, and she didn't share this, but when I asked her, I was like, okay, what did you start for? Because Marina, I met you and you were a triple diamond. And it's funny. And I love that you talked about your husband. Same, you guys, like Kevin, he was never like, oh, you can't do that. Like, he was just funny. He was like, just know how to break even. And like, that was my goal. I was like, I'm going to break even. And then from there, and I wouldn't even let Kevin even try a product because I was like, oh no, like I broke even. Now I'm going to profit. And so, but the thing is I remember the same thing. Like this does take time, you know, and at first he didn't understand that. And it took till about triple diamond for him to be like, whoa, this has some crazy potential. So if you're kind of having those conversations, you guys, like, it's okay. We've been there. And you just have to be like, trust me, like I'm doing this, like we're going to keep going forward. We have goals. And I always said to Kevin, unless you can think of something that allows us the potential to make what we want, to knock off our goals from home, that's not going to take you from the house or me from the house, like zip, you know? And so just know, you guys, some of those struggles, we all go through a lot of those. So don't like keep them inside or be embarrassed about them, because I think many of us do. So Ambassador Diamond, your goal originally was $500 to $1,000 a month. So she was even shooting higher than breaking even. So I'm proud of you. And she was like, you know what? I wanted it to do family vacations, right? Think of how many of us did the whole, like, you either worked a lot of extra to pay for the vacation, or like, I know for myself, even like I only had limited PTO time. So it was like, I would work like 6 in a row, you guys, be exhausted. We would go travel and I would probably get like 8 days off, but then I also came back to working another 6 in a row. Like sometimes I was like, was that even freaking worth it? Like I was like, I don't even know if that was worth it. So you turn a goal of family vacations into a career. At what point did you stop your cleaning business and go full-time with this?
Well, I mean, a year in, because I hit presidential. I remember telling my husband, well, first of all, he was totally against animals. Some of my teens on here, they just think this is the funniest story. He's not against animals. He loves animals. He just didn't want any, right? And so he basically told our children, who were begging for a puppy for God knows how long, you know, okay, I'll make you guys a deal. If your mom can hit the rank of presidential diamond, you guys can get a puppy. That poor fool did not know how bad I wanted a dog, right? So I like hustled to get to presidential. I got there in my first year. And I remember, so I got that $100,000 bonus plus my husband's double diamond bonus, which was doubled to 30. Plus we'd already earned a few other ones. So I remember going live right after that. And I went live and I was on the live talking about how I just earned this. And I just blurted it out and I said, and I've decided to close down my cleaning company. And I was going to keep it and just manage my staff and everything else. And something just like light bulb. I don't have time for that anymore. I don't want it anymore. I love the money. We didn't get into this for the money. We got into it for more freedom and to be able to vacation, right? I wanted to be able to take a step back from my company and to be able to have my staff work so that I could actually go away. Like we had our first child when I was 19, right? And we didn't vacation. We had our second when I was 25 and we didn't vacation. We didn't have the money to have the extra funds. Plus I didn't have the time. I worked all the time. You know, in between my schedule and his shift work, it was nearly impossible to get that. So I decided that I was meant for freaking more, you guys. And so I closed down my company a year in and went full time with this. And I'm telling you, it was the best decision I ever made. Now, I know a lot of you get excited and they're like, I quit my job and I'm so excited and I just went diamond and I'm killing it, you know, and you are, when you're diamond, you are killing it. I wouldn't suggest like quitting your job. Like I've had people quit at Ruby, but then, you know, you want to set yourself up for success. So you want to make sure that you don't feel like you're going into debt and things like that. Make sure that you're still working, make sure you're paying for things, but also getting yourself set up for that future. I knew that I was there. And I waited till I was presidential, which you can choose a different stage, but be smart about it. But it's so exciting when you actually have it happen and you get to be home. I tell my team all the time, like I remember, and I always cry, I'm gonna try not to, but I'm so yellow. I remember the very first time that here we go. I took my daughter to her very first field trip, and my son was 5 years older, and I had never been on field trip with them because I worked all the time. And we're at the pumpkin patch on the little train with the haystacks, and I'm sitting there with her, and all the other little kids were all trying to hold my hand. And I remember sitting there and just thinking to myself, somebody else has been holding my child's hand for all of these years. And I didn't have that. And all these little kids were just wanting to hold our hands. And I made a decision from that day forward. I will never let somebody else hold my child's hand. And I'm going to be there for other kids if they need me, you know? So figure out your why, grasp onto it. And if it makes you cry, it has to make you cry, because it has to be strong enough, and run with it, because I will never have that happen again. I'm so thankful that I have the choice to go to every single event and every school play and I never went to any of them, you guys. And I felt like such a crappy parent, but I couldn't. I literally could not. Oh, Alexandra, I see you crying in the background.
Oh. Cry. See, and it's crazy because it's like moments like that you just think like, that's why I put people's opinions aside. That's why I kept going, even if nobody believed I could do it. Like this is why, you know, and I feel like you just continuously have those the longer that you're in this, you know, and there's things like my Brooks doesn't even like, he'll be like, you were a nurse? Like, I'm like, do you not and he doesn't, he was so little, but Grady remembers. And then Grady would be like, yeah, I cried when mom would go to work. I'm like, yes, he did. Because he's totally a mama's boy, you know? And so it's crazy. So here's the thing and like somebody was like, no, get real. And I love that. So, you know, I think a lot of times when they hear success stories or they hear ambassadors, they think that doesn't come with struggle. They don't feel like it comes with fear, or that you have everything lining up and support and life isn't happening. But the truth is that none of that is true. Like that's the God honest truth. And so just even tell them. So you were talking about, you know, you did go presidential pretty quick. And I always tell everybody, everybody's journey is different. And my team knows this because I'm so open about this all the time. Like I was like, you know what? I went double diamond in 4 months, which, right? There's people that are like, oh my gosh, like I haven't even gone ruby. Doesn't even matter, you guys. But the thing is like my hardest jump was like double diamond to triple. And it was hard, not because of the work that I needed to do, but because of mindset, of growth that I needed to step into that I was beyond scared to do. Being able to let go when people just couldn't see it in themselves. And so like that happens, right? Things like that happen. And Marina and I were talking because we both kind of had a similar thing happen before going for this top rank, right? And you have to have so many ducks in a row. It's crazy. But now they've simplified it, which is great. But just let them know, what was the time, you kind of know your time frame, and you kind of said that, and I think, what did you say? 14 months you were pres. Was that right? What'd you say?
That year, 12 months.
12 months. Okay, 12 months. And then now you guys, she just said that she went ambassador, right? So there's a 3-month thing or a 3-year thing there. And this is the thing. Marina could have counted herself out, or she could have gotten down on herself, or she could have said, you know, like, oh my gosh, maybe this isn't, you know, worth it, or I'm not good at this anymore. Like you let the lies, you let the doubt creep in. You guys, we've all been there. If you haven't, it honestly is going to happen. At some point, it might be at a different point in somebody else's journey, but how long was this ambassador in the works for you? Because I think sometimes people think like, I just worked so hard, you know, or for a month or even 2 months, and they're just like, waiting for all the fruition to show up right in their face and like smack them in the face. And I'm like, no. And actually on a Zoom that we did, somebody was like, no, you guys, like the big dogs, like that are like the life-changing things. Like it's crazy, but it almost takes, like somebody said, it was like 12 to this 18-month time span. And I'm like, gosh, dang it. That is like a good way to put it. Right. And I tell people that all the time, because that was one of my huge jumps. Was my triple was my hardest one, even harder than pres. Holy crap. But it was from triple to pres that I saw a huge, like one of those jumps in your check that brings you to your knees, you know? And I remember thinking like, that didn't happen overnight. Like I just worked almost 2 years for that. And so you guys, I showed up even if I didn't see a raise in my check. I showed up even when I saw a decrease in my check. Like you have to know what you're doing. And so just kind of share with that, because I think people think like, oh, it's all like just, you know, roses and blah, blah, blah. And it's just not that. But honestly, I just think it makes us such stronger people. It makes us more relatable leaders, things that we can guide people through. And it just makes the journey, like you said, that much sweeter. Like, are you upset really that it took you that long? Like today you saw prelims. I know how you felt come in May 1st. And it's like, it's crazy that you don't even think about that. Like you become appreciative instead of frustrated. You're like, I honestly appreciate all that because this was even sweeter because of it, right?
Well, that's to say, it comes with a journey. And for anyone who thinks that this happens or that we're something special because we got there, or that we lucked out, or that this and that, like, please eat those words, because it did not come without a lot of struggles. And I promise you that every single person is no different, if that's ambassador or you as a distributor or a Ruby or an Emerald or any of that. The only difference is that we've gotten more no's. We've gotten more, we've had to deal with more drama to get there. We've dealt with our stuff. It's our chapter 22 or chapter 2. Do you know what I mean? And we just have to remember that our journeys are different. I've just been here a little bit longer type of thing, or, I showed up that many more times, so just, you have to keep showing up, and you have to get there, and you have to show your teams are also following you. Do you know how many times I get messages of people who say, they just don't have support because their upline just doesn't show up, but then will all of a sudden show back up and then go away. And don't be that wavy, wishy-washy person. Show up every day, even if it's just for a hot second, to show your teams that you're involved and that you're there. I many times wanted to give up. I've had so many things happen. And as you know, because I've shared, I'm so yellow and I get my feelings hurt so easily. It's just so embarrassing sometimes. And I just have had to realize that my struggles are a part of my journey and that it's what got me here. I remember going prez and being on top of the world a year in. Not many people had done that. And I was like, you're the shiz, like, good job. And here we are 3 years later. It's probably because I got cocky. I'm just kidding. I was never, but you know what? Things happen. And I to this day, since the day I joined to the day now, I have never lost a rank under me. I've never lost my rank. I kept my prize the whole entire time. And I remember thinking that was such an advantage, that I had never lost that rank before. And I remember thinking, like, I can show my team that it's possible and that you work hard and you can keep your rank, No. So you have to be able to relate to your team. And it wasn't until, so I got myself to prez and then I got my husband to triple. So we were making those 2 amazing paychecks. It was phenomenal. And then one of my team members and then a sideline under my husband both left, took their teams and went to other companies. Crashed and burned. Like, paycheck dove down to here, thousands of dollars a month, you guys. And I remember feeling so defeated, and I'll never be able to oh my gosh, to redo all these people and all these charts. And it was the tears and poor me and all this stuff. But you know what I realized is that I was now able to relate to my team. I was now able to tell them, girl, I've been there. This happened to me and I feel your struggles. Okay, this is what I did to regain. This is what I did to come back on top, or this is what I did. You guys, my husband finally regained his diamond 2 months ago, still not triple, but I am so proud that I never gave up on his leg. I almost canceled him numerous times and I didn't. I just got together with the people who stuck around. And you're going to have so many people quit, you guys. When I look at my presidential chart, when I went prez, I think there's literally a handful of people from that entire presidential chart that are still with me, So don't worry about it. There's going to be more. Like Cindy Pentecost says, and a few others, we pray them in and we pray them out. If they were meant to be with us, they're going to be with us. If they're not meant to be with us, they'll leave. And if they're meant to still be with us, they're going to come back. Because you were so good to them and you never talked down to them, and you have to be so good. And this is how, I can't tell you how many times people come back. And I think that this is why all of a sudden, I'm getting back, is that I've reached back out to people who have quit and encouraged them, nothing to do with the business, just being there for them, whether they hurt you or not, and checking in with them. And a number one reason why we as a team went ambassador was many of us got together and we changed our freaking mindsets. We it's so easy to get down and negative. You have to be positive. And I was actually just telling Sarah and Rhonda, just in separate messages, that at the end of last month, I remember I was telling Alexandra, who's my triple diamond, the last one for my ambassador. And I remember telling her, I am not a mass enroller. I do not know how we're going to do this. You guys, we had to take basically a diamond to triple. And how are we going to do this? Like, we're not mass enrollers. None of our team is. And Alex looked at me and she's like, well, that right there, it's mindset. You have to tell yourself you're a mass enroller. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, is that the ticket right there? And I woke up and we decided to do, as a team, a 30-day like affirmation challenge. I know I did it for me, but a lot of them did it as well. And it felt so stupid in the beginning, but standing in front of the mirror and saying, hello there, Marina Winkler. You are an ambassador diamond and you are a mass enroller. You guys, I signed almost 50 people last month, and I don't sign more than, like, I think my best month was Prez 28 back then, like 3 years ago. And my average, I would say, is like 3 to 7. On a good month, 7. And I signed almost 50. And you know what? It's because we banded together and we changed our mindsets as a whole. And we went from like 5,000 group volume in that leg to over 35,000 group volume. And it was so much organic pouring in. People were signing loyals one after the next because we worked together as a team, you know, and it was just so phenomenal. It was like groundbreaking. And even the month before, we were going to go ambassador in the month of March, and we had our last little diamond that was supposed to be built leave and take a whole slew of distributors with her, knowing that we were promoting that month. And we had to rechange the whole plan. I was so down. I cried and I was a mess. She left on my birthday.
Yeah.
I wanted to be so angry with her.
That too, right? We say, like, when huge things are happening, it's like you literally will feel like things that you never could have imagined going wrong all of a sudden just come out of nowhere, right? It's like working against you. And I tell people this all the time. I'm like, that means it's going to happen. Like, I mean, I remember the same thing even with my 2.0. It was just like, all of a sudden, my husband was gone for the week. Then he came home with the flu, and I was like, no, you were supposed to come relieve me. And then it was like, literally, they each just passed it on to them cute selves. And I'm like, 3 weeks of the flu at my house. I'm like, I don't even think I've showered, but I was like, heck if I am not bringing that thing to Diamond. Like, I was like, no, it's just not happening. And that's the thing. And you know what's so crazy is, and I love that you just said this, because last month, even if some of those people didn't promote, we had some of our team's highest enrollments, and it was mindset. You know, I think so many times that I've said, like, oh, this is kind of my sweet spot, or this is my number, because I think I'm going to feel overwhelmed. Like, how am I going to take care of that many customers? You know what? I'm doing it. Like, last month, it was like same thing. You know, it was like customer after customer after customer. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, no one can tell me that 4 people don't want these products, because I just signed 4 in the last hour, you know, and that's not my norm either, but it's going to be my new norm. Like, I was like, no, we're keeping it, you know? And so, yeah, a lot of it is mindset. And I love that you said that you guys did daily affirmations. I'm a freak, and I tell my girls all the time, I'm like, you better be taking selfies with Post-it notes, and I better see what those Post-it notes say. And if they don't say what you're telling me, we're going to redo them. Like, if I need to send you Post-it notes, I will. And I tell them, stick it in your car, stick it here, stick it there, you know, tell people, because the truth is it does make a huge difference. So I love that you just shared that. So here, this is now, what does your like day-to-day look like? I know, and no day is the same. And I laugh because when I was writing you a question, I was like, you know, everyone, like, we hear this all the time, like, balance. You guys, there's not balance. Okay. So I'm just going to tell you that. But I will tell you, even with the chaos, like, there are so many blessings, and there's little things that maybe you cared about before that you're like, honestly, I care about this blessing way more than this little petty thing. And there's like this shift in you as a person, and that's what changes you in the first place. Right. So, just kind of give them like a day, you know, of just how you fit in the things that mean the most to you without giving up any time that you're going to put in your business. because obviously you are doing it full time and you're serious, and you don't get to ambassador by just showing up when you want to or when you feel like it or when you have time, right?
Hey, I'm living the good life. I don't show up. Oh man, you know what? My name is Marina Winkler, but I have middle names. They are Hot, Mess, and Express. Okay? I am all over the map. I am the most disorganized person I know. Like papers everywhere. I'm like old school with my notebooks and like chicken scratch everywhere. My poor husband and own a cleaning company. I'm very clean, but I'm not tidy. I'm like dropping everything everywhere and he's picking up behind me, you know? I just don't feel like in this type of business, there is a balance. You really just make it work for however it works for you. And for me, I just wake up in the morning. So when I start my day, and I'm not always good for this, but Amber Parker's the one who taught me this, that you don't touch your phone for the first half hour. You literally don't. And that everyone on your team, I always truly believe that because even a lot of my team's on the other side of the world, a lot of my team is like, 3 hours ahead because I'm PST and all this. So you get all bent out of shape that someone's just expecting you to get back. They can wait. People can wait, right? And you and your self-development need to come first. That's with mindset, self-development, doing something for you. So I wake up now and I go downstairs and I have my keto coffee and my chocolate greens. And, if you can find the time, which would be awesome, is to do some sort of either your affirmations, which I'm now doing every single morning. That's a part of my morning routine, is affirming and talking to myself like a weirdo, but it's awesome. And, for some people that means reading a chapter out of a book, listening to a podcast or whatever it is that works for you. But I think so many people are so negative and they cannot change their mindset, and you won't until you actually feed into your business or into your personal soul, which will in turn feed into your business, right? I always kind of share with my team. It's like, I don't know if any of you have read the book, The 5 Love Languages. It's basically a book teaching how to love your partner in the way that they need to be loved, because it's just normal for us to love people how we want to be loved. And yet we all have different love languages. There's 5 prominent love languages. And if you're not pouring into your partner the way that they need to be poured into, that their tank's going to be not full. So you need to fill their tank, even though it makes you uncomfortable to love them that way. Well, it's the same thing with ourselves. We need to pour into ourselves the way we need to be poured into. And same with our business. Do the things daily. So I love language my business. So I hate doing credit card declines, but my business loves when I check in my credit card declines. So I do it for my business. I don't care for doing live videos at all. But my business thrives. When I go live, people eat it up. I always seem to get interest or people signing, and I still don't do it as much as I should. I will just literally put it out there. Check my page, keep me accountable. But my business loves that I go live. I don't like messaging people all the time, but I do it every single day. So if you do just get a piece of paper and write a checklist of your non-negotiables for the day, get that all done and say, you know what, you're not allowed to go grocery shopping, or you're not allowed to go to work, or you're not allowed to do anything. And if I'm going to be late for work and get dinged by my boss, that's my problem. I didn't put into my business, or get it done at night, whenever it suits you. But so for me, basically my day, that's how it looks. I get my stuff done. So then anything above and beyond that I get done after that, that's just extras that I'm just killing it with, So making sure that you're doing those IPAs, income producing activities. Do not be a Facebook scroller. It's so easy to do that, and we all get lost in it. That right there will kill your business more than I can explain. Do things like going to your friends list and then just going down and messaging a ton of people. Even if you don't know them, don't talk about it works. Get in their inbox for a reason. Go to their page, check out their page, see what's going on their page, and then write them a question about something. Girl, where did you get that dress? It was incredible. I loved it. Can I get the link? And then they're now, because of algorithms, seeing all your stuff. Find reasons to get in their inbox. That is a huge thing for me. And another thing, if I could just give a tip about social media, if you're on there, I'm most social media. stop using the like button. And my team knows this. I'm like against it. Don't hit like. If you think about it, when you're looking through your notifications and you're scrolling down, you scroll by every single one of those likes. Guess what? So are they. But if you see so-and-so commented, you're like, oh, so you click on it and you want to see, boom, you see that someone's commented. So comment on their stuff, be real with them. And like, then they're gonna be like, who's this Marina Winkler chick? Then they go to my page, then they see my adventure. They see my story. Then they start following me, and eventually they just have to be a part of what I'm doing. Don't be spammy, don't be it works-y, to be honest. I try and keep the mystery. It works anything, anywhere. I talk about my health and wellness and my company and how it's changed our lives. And so that people get excited to be a part of what you're doing, and that they have to come and ask you, what are you doing and what business are you in?
Mm-hmm. And I love that, because the thing is so many people come in here and they're like, I'm not a salesperson, or I don't want to annoy people, right? You guys, we hear it all the time. No, none of us do. But the thing is you don't have to do that, you know, and you don't do that you do share your life. You don't have to give all the info on a product when you're sharing a product. Like, leave some out to bring people to you, you know? You don't have to say it works in bold letters on every single post, you know? Like, let them just see your lifestyle and what you're doing with it. And you guys, honestly, I love that even more. And so it's so funny that you said that. So even on Instagram, it's like when somebody's like, what do you do? Or I thought you were a blogger. And I'm like, yes, I'm doing my job, you know, because you relate to it. Or they realize like, yes, I am a business owner and I am hightailing my goals like nobody's business, but I also I'm also more than that, right? I'm a mom. I like fashion. I'm a hockey mom. I'm on the go. I'm in my mom-mobile 24/7. Like, people relate to that, and people see like, okay, Sarah's doing this, or Marina's doing this, or like somebody can come to you and be like, I am a business owner. How can I put this into there? And you're going to know, you know, like you can be like, I get it. So was I. Or there's hairdressers or whatever it is. So you guys just remember, like, this is going to be a big portion of your life, but it's not all of it. And that's okay. Like, that is 100% okay. So, okay, I am going to have them answer this. Somebody asked, when you said, I think you said when you went presidential after we left conference, you guys, P.S., if you haven't been to conference, game freaking changer. And I can't even tell you, I had so many girls trust me this year that have barely joined, come and meet complete strangers, which were probably the coolest complete strangers there are. Let's be honest. But that are like, same thing. They're like, I'm not sitting back here. Like, I'm on VIP floor. And it is so crazy what that does for you. But they're asking, did you say you signed 28 distributors? Okay. So they're asking, how did you sign 28 distributors when that's like not your norm? Because obviously this might be somebody, and if I'm looking right, I think it's somebody that's going to double promote this month and is going for a 10K bonus. So she's like zooming in on you like, that's what I want to do this month. And she's also from Canada. So yay, Team Canada. I'm proud of you guys.
You know, and people have asked me this in the past, and it's so funny because I literally try and remember what I did, and it's so hard to remember because it was so long ago. But I remember getting home from conference, and you know what? I'm a very yellow personality, as you know, and I think that I let my yellow get in the way too much, and I had a fear of failure. I also had a fear of success. I was worried.
Mm-hmm.
I was so stinking worried to go presidential and ambassador because they would tell me to speak.
No, there's a lot of people afraid of the next step and like the responsibilities or what comes with it, or they think I'm not going to be good enough to lead this many people. You guys, that's a real thing. Like, you're thinking money off the bat and you're like, no way, no. It's like a real thing. So I'm glad you said that.
Well, and it's a real fear for a lot of us. I've struggled with anxiety my entire life. And my husband, like I said, when I joined, was so against me really doing this because he's like, how on earth? He's a firefighter. Any event we would go to, like Christmas parties or anything, he'd have to stop on the side of the road so I could throw up because my anxiety was so bad that I couldn't even hold it in, you know? So that's why self-development is so important, folks.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't take a lot, 1% every day, 365% growth in a year, you know?
Yep.
A little bit. But for like my signing of distributors, honestly, it was coming home and I grasped the vision because I realized how exhausted I was from cleaning and I didn't want to do it anymore. I scrubbed people's toilets for a living. Like, ew, you know? And I was proud of the work that I did, but I was so over it. And I got home and I remember I went live, and it was actually, I don't even know if we had live. I think I did a video back then. I don't even think we had live
I
yet.
think we did videos. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah. So I did a video, and I wrote at the top, and I wrote, to all my friends and family, please watch. And I said in the video, I am running for a huge promotion that is going to change my family's life. I am letting all of you know right here, right now. Please do not invite me to any birthdays this month. Do not invite me out for dinner. Do not ask me if I can meet up for coffee. I am solely working on my business. And I had to talk to my husband and say, we're a team. I need you. I'm running for a huge promotion. Our house is not going to be clean. Our house is not going to be organized. You need to make most of the meals unless you're on night shift, and I have the kids. And our children were a part of each promotion. Your family needs to be involved. Listen, give them a goal. Even do like a chart, one of those thermostat charts with a goal, and let them help you mark off your thermostat, as you're going up, and make it a whole thing. I think if you are focused and you tell everyone, and then it's hard when you're going for a promotion and people are wanting to still go out with you or invite you to this. If you make a video or you go live and you let people know, I am going, whether I like it or not, it's happening. And then you just blinders on and you spend morning till night. If you care about that promotion and you've got the time, if you're still at work like I was, then you find the time in between. You work and then you find the time in between, but you take every waking moment that you have available and you put it towards that. And I promise you, you will start enrolling. But you can't stay silent, and you have to go into people's messages. Posting is not asking. It's not. It's a combination. They work hand in hand. You need to be making posts so people are aware of what you're doing, because some people will come to you, but most won't. You need to reach out. You need to talk to, I think I remember telling every single potential distributor, I'm going for this life-changing promotion. I honestly cannot imagine you not being there by my side. I can't imagine us not doing this together. Voice message them. Let them hear your excitement and how you're feeling. And I just truly believe that that's how I got raw and real with people. I was so open and honest, and I really gave it my all. I did not mess around. I didn't watch TV that month. There are things that you're going to have to give up. And if you're willing to give them up, you are going to get to the top.
Yeah. And I think too, I think so many of us have said this, like when we're mapping, first of all, you have got to be mapping. Like if you don't, you're working, but the purpose is not clear. Okay. So mapping is so big, you guys. And then the thing is too, is like when I know, if I'm looking at my map, or like when you were looking at your map and you needed 28, right, new team members. Here's the thing is, like, in my mind, I'm getting 28 people, right? And so that's the thing. And then if anybody is signing people, every time I sign somebody, I messaged my team. I was like, this is how I just got this person. Here's a screenshot of my conversation. Like, you guys, it's not like, oh, I ask and they just say yes, And the thing is too, is there's a lot of people that sometimes, like, I think on a good day, when somebody takes maybe 3 or 4 days of back and forth conversation, I'm like, boom, that's amazing. So if you're setting your mind up to think people are just going to sign within the first message, like, that's just not reality, And then the thing is too, is knowing that some of those things take time, you need to put those numbers out there. You need to be asking. And you need to ask a lot of people, because some people aren't going to respond. Some people are going to say no. Some people need to take some time, and they might not be on your time frame. So you've got to find the ones that are willing to do that. The other thing is like in every conversation you had. So even if somebody reached out to you about products, and all of a sudden you're putting it 2 and 2 together, and you're like, wait a second, like their goal is a pretty big goal. They'd probably be using the products for, whatever, 3 or 4 or 5 months. Ask them, you guys. Like, if you are not saying, hey, I just need to ask you this, I know this is what you're wanting, you would already be commission qualified. Or would you be interested in using these products, but also earning free product and making a little bit of extra money? Does that interest you in any way? You guys, you should be talking about it every single conversation that you can get. And then for me, once you get those, or you're starting to get those, then it's like if they're not ready for it, it's fine. They're a loyal customer. Volume's volume. You always get paid on loyal customers, right? And so when people kind of downplay those, I'm like, oh no, you need both. You need both. So I think when we talk about those things, it's just knowing people do take time. So it's not just putting 10 messages out there or inviting 10 people. It's inviting more and putting those numbers out there and then still posting and going live and doing those types of things, right?
And also to piggyback off of that, you know, you guys, if you're someone who says, you know, I don't, nobody's watching, I don't get very many likes, I get no comments and this and that, I want to just change your views on that. So I am someone who, if you go look at my posts, like for all the years, I don't get a lot of comments. I don't get a lot of posts or likes or any of that. And you know what's funny? People are watching whether you believe it or not. I had a girl message me like 3 months ago. Her name was Dora. And she messaged me out of nowhere. I have never seen her name. I've never even knew she was on my Facebook. Didn't even know she existed, you guys. She messaged me and said she's been following me for 2.5 years. She has, and I said, I didn't even know who you were. I'm like, so it's so nice to meet you. And she's like, well, I've been following silently. And she's like, well, you wouldn't have seen me because I've never actually commented and I've never liked anything. And I'm like, wow. She's like, but you're literally, I've gone through the toughest times and I just go to your page and I know I'm going to see something inspiring or positive. And I'm just wanted to come in and reach out and say, thank you so much. She's like, and I'm so interested in your product line, the collagen and all this stuff. And I just said, Dora, like, can I ask you a question? And she says, yes. And it was exactly what Sarah said. And I said, will you join me in this? I said, will you join me in this business? And she was like, I don't know if I'd be good or whatever. And she eventually said yes. And she just went Ruby last month, you guys. And, you know, this business is like, there's so many people. If you're adding to your network all the time, you have people watching. They don't have to be sitting there liking or commenting. I have people join me all the time that I have only spoken to a couple times. But just if you are always positive and you're always posting on your page something that is going to be inspiring to others, force yourself. Wake up with a morning positive quote and end with a positive good night quote. I promise that even if you doing that every single day is not only going to change you, it's going to change somebody else. Those positive quotes are the ones that get shared the most on my page. That's what people are always sharing. And people eat that stuff up because people are going through stuff more than we know. So don't discount and don't say that you're not good enough and that you don't get likes and this and that. If you're consistently being positive and you're consistently posting, there's people watching.
And I love that because that's such an easy thing. And you don't have to come up with the inspiring quote. Like they're everywhere. And it's the same thing. If I post something funny, you guys, humor is everything. Like people need to laugh. Like life is really fast paced. It's stressful. It's like people are serious. Again, like anything that's funny, you guys, like people, that is stuff people share. That's where people, like if they know, hey, I can go to Sarah's page and there's going to be a good laugh and I need that today, that's where they go. If they know Marina's like a total lover and she's always posting inspiring things, like that's where they're going on a bad day, you know, and they pay attention to those things. So I love all of that. And then I just saw somebody else post in here. There's one more question I have for you. We'll close this out. But she just said, I get a whole bunch of potentials, but how can I get them to actually sign up? So I'll let you answer first, and then maybe we have the same answer. I don't even know.
I don't know. You know, I feel like it's so different depending on each person.
Mm-hmm.
Some people they're gonna ask you a bazillion questions before sealing that deal, and there's some that'll be like, cool, sign me up, you know? And I think how do I seal the deal? I think, honestly, it's confidence. Assume the sale, assume the sign up, assume that it's going to happen and just tell yourself it's going to happen. And then go in there and always end your post or your conversations with a question. So they have to come back and say yes or no. And usually when we're getting close to that, I usually just say something like, what do I say? I should open up my phone. I just would say something like, I'm going to have a brain fart here now, guys. Oh Lord, just do it. Okay, just do it. Just get it done. No, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time thinking of something right now, but finishing it and asking with a question, just being like, I feel like when I'm talking to them before, like, I feel like we're going to do this together or whatever. I usually like end with, you know what are you waiting for? Or let's do this. Or, we got this, we're going to rock this business together. You ready to go? Just things that are like assuming that it's happening. Sorry, it was a hot mess there for a second. See, told you, Hot Mess Express is my middle name. But like, if you're confident in your answers and you basically tell them that they have to do this with you and that it's going to change their lives, just being super confident. I think confidence goes a long way. And that's how I do it, I would say.
Yeah. And you guys, I think too, after you've had a lot of conversations, like things that scare people, almost you start getting scared to bring them up, right? Like, you guys know, like, people are like, auto ship, what's that? I remember being like, I was the same way, but it didn't stop me. And I was like, here's the deal. I go, once I understood the auto ship, like, even once I was in, I'm like, it didn't scare me. It made a lot of sense, actually, especially because I made $1,100 in wrap cash, right? Couldn't have did that without having any product. So I think you have to remember, like, stop being scared because one thing scared somebody else. Like, it's not scary. Like, everything in this business has a purpose. So I always think if somebody's fearful, I'm like, let me educate them a little bit on this and give some options. Like, even if that scares you, why don't you start here? Or, you guys, I'm really real. Like, I'm like, if people have asked some questions, I'm like, okay, I know you're interested because you asked good questions. Like, you're already on the good mindset of things. What is scaring you? Like, what is truly, honestly stopping you? And you guys, that's like a dead conversation, and they'll come back and tell me what it is. Sometimes it's the auto ship. Sometimes it's the time. And I'm like, here's the deal. So I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, if you had all the time in the world, would you do this? If your answer is yes, you got to go for it, because you will find the time, because your goals mean something to you. If it's the auto ship, like, you're already there. So even if let me educate you on it. We'll get you started. And if you want to turn that off, you can. But honestly, you're going to understand what it's for. And so I definitely address fears. And then the other thing, when I look through people's conversations and I'm helping them, like, because they keep feeling like they're just falling a little bit short, right? You guys, you're not directly asking. That's the thing. You're not saying, okay, are you ready to get started? Or, okay, when would you like to get started? And if they're like, I have to wait till payday, what date is that? I'm going to write you down. I'm going to save you a spot, and I'm ready to go. So the thing is you're kind of being a little wishy-washy in leaving it kind of open-ended, which allows them to be the same. So, like, I am very direct, which I think the more direct you are, the more confident it comes off. So some of you guys think like that's pushy. It's not. It's not. Honestly, if somebody was like, hey, do you want to make some extra money? And are you ready to get started now? Like, yeah, why would I want to wait to start making extra money? You know what I'm saying? So, and the same thing, like, I'll tell people, they'll give me like 18 excuses. And I'm like, okay, so here's the deal though. I get all those fears. I had them too. But here's my question. Would you like to make some extra money? Would you know if you made $200 tomorrow, do you know exactly where that would go? If your answer is yes, then let's do this. Like, I just give them situations, you guys. So I don't know if that helps, but I've become to be a lot more direct, as where I kind of would leave it in somebody else's time frame, but then that's leaving my success and my team's promotions in somebody else's time frame, and I just don't really like that. And I don't think that you're ever going to feel 100% ready. Okay, so, and I also tell people that because I didn't either. And if I would have waited till I'm ready, I would have a whole different lifestyle right now. So, okay, last question for you, Marina, because I love this. What would the Marina now tell the Marina who questioned if she could do this or couldn't ever see herself at the top rank of the company?
Oh, man. See, I'm so different now than I was 4 years ago. If I could look back 4 years ago, I would say, get over yourself, like, so much quicker. To this day, I have so much anxiety. It's still with me. It's not going anywhere. It's just, I've learned how to cope with it, a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And believe in yourself. I would have told myself, just believe in yourself so much more. I actually made a post I think it was yesterday or today. I can't even remember. And I just basically, I remember a few years ago telling Brent, I have no talents. I'm not good at anything. I'm so not good at anything. Like what? I can make cute babies. And I mean, what am I giving you, a baby factory? And I can clean houses. You know, I don't have like, I remember thinking if I was ever like on the Miss Canada or whatever, the United States, all these, no, I wouldn't have a talent, you know? And, you know, my husband has always been very encouraging to me other than this in the beginning. And he was just like, one day you're going to know, like, you're just going to know. And I know now, and I found it, and this is what I'm good at. And I believed in myself enough to allow myself to learn and grow. And you guys need to believe in yourselves enough to allow yourselves to move forward that 1% every single day. And if you grow that little 1% every day, it doesn't have to be these moving of mountains overnight. You can grow 1%. Just if you step out of your comfort zone, if you hate live videos, go to your back room and do a recorded video over and over and over until it's awesome, and then send it and start there. That's how I started. I didn't do lives right off the bat. If you don't love cold messaging, which I don't either, start by finding reasons to get in people's inboxes, just doing things to make you, I think that if you're not willing to get uncomfortable a little bit every day, then you're never going to move forward. You will stay stuck and stagnant in that same place. So if I could go back, I would tell Marina to just get over it a heck of a lot faster, because I would have been ambassador probably in my second year. I would have. I was boxed for it back then, and then things fell apart. Like, it could have happened, but I didn't get over myself, and I wasn't willing to step out of my comfort zone. I was too uncomfortable, and I didn't want to. And so you guys just tell yourselves, I'm worth it. My children are worth it. My dog's worth it. If you're a fur mom, whatever, like, change your lives for all of you. It's so worth it. I look at my life today. We just recently bought our dream home on 10 acres of property, and, you know, we pay cash for vehicles and things like that. We get to go across the world. I just got to take my 12-year-old son for his birthday to Africa and give back for a whole week to the families and villages out there. My heart as a yellow is for giving back. And this is why I do what I do. And I decided to get uncomfortable for not only my family, but other people's families all over the world, so that we can give back. And the money that you can make in this business, don't feel guilty about making that kind of money. Use it for good, right? So I guess that's what I would say.
No, I love it. And I think, you know, and like we've talked about over and over, it's like, you've got to give this time, not only for the time of being able to build on to what you've already started working on and to gain some of that momentum, but even yourself. Like, you guys, you don't just become an ambassador, you grow into a ruby. And then as a ruby, you grow into an emerald, you know, and the pace of that is a decision you have to make. It's not anybody else. It's not a lack of this or a lack of that. You guys, there is so much more than we ever had back in the day, and we were still doing it. So really, it was like, I almost probably made us take ownership a lot faster. And maybe that's why some of us did move a lot faster, you know, or if you're trying to think like, what the heck, you know, but the thing is just take some ownership, have some belief in yourself. And if that's where you really struggle and you feel yourself like self-doubt or just like letting the negative creep in, like, you know, right then and there, you need to start your day with self-development. And if you need ideas for that, like, it's all over. I mean, Pam's podcasts are amazing. I literally listen to those when I'm putting my makeup on all the time. There's so many things that you can listen to, but you have got to get your mind right so that in your mind, you're taking on your day and not the day is going to take on you. So thank you so much, Marina. I am so freaking proud of you. Congratulations. You just have had some insane accomplishments. You are what? 1%. Like, I can't even handle it. And it's crazy for me because I get emotional because I'm like, oh my God, I met so-and-so and they were at this or they were that. And you fight for it, you guys, but gosh dang it. Not a single one of us has ever been like, that sucked or that wasn't worth it. Or, you know what? We may have missed a bonus. And I still thought Triple Diamond was still freaking bomb without a bonus. So again, I can tell you, Marina probably didn't earn a bonus on every promotion she's had. And her promotions have always been worth it as well. So keep going, you guys. Thank you again for tonight, Marina. I love your face. I'm so happy for you and your team, and I will be posting the recording for all of you guys to use even in future. So have a good night.
Love you all. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye.